Welcome back, everyone. Today, we have a truly heartwarming and engaging story that will not only entertain you but also help you improve your English skills. In this episode, we'll dive deep into the beautiful bond between two sisters, Maya and Priya, as they reconnect over a fun weekend filled with memories, laughter, and meaningful conversations. This story is packed with rich vocabulary, natural conversations, and vivid descriptions that will help you learn how to express emotions, describe actions, and talk about everyday life, all in English. So, whether you're looking to improve your speaking, listening, or just understand English better, this story is perfect for you. As we journey through their weekend, you'll get to practice with real-life phrases, relatable scenarios, and even expand your understanding of grammar and sentence structure. So, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this wonderful story while improving our English together. I'm Maya, 26 years old, working as a graphic designer in the bustling heart of the city. My job, while creative and fun, is demanding, leaving me with little time for myself or my loved ones during the week. My sister, Priya, is 28 and works as a fashion designer for a popular brand. She's just as busy as I am, if not more, but our bond is unbreakable. We've always made time for each other no matter what. Recently, though, we realized we hadn't spent proper quality time together in months, so we decided to plan a special weekend. Just the two of us. It was a sunny Saturday morning when I packed my bags and set off to Priya's house. She lived about an hour away in a quiet, scenic town surrounded by nature. The train ride felt peaceful, with the soft hum of the train lulling me into a relaxed state. I couldn't wait to unwind, laugh, and share stories with my sister. We always had the best time together, whether it was reminiscing about our childhood or talking about the ups and downs of our lives now. As I stepped off the train, I saw Priya waiting for me with her usual bright smile. She waved excitedly, and we ran toward each other, embracing tightly. It felt so good to be with her again. "I've missed you so much," she exclaimed, squeezing me tighter. "I missed you too," I replied, matching her enthusiasm. It was like no time had passed at all, and we instantly fell back into our usual rhythm. We got into her car and headed to her house, chatting non-stop on the way. Her home was as cozy as I remembered it, with soft pastel colors, plush cushions, and the faint smell of vanilla candles. It always felt like a peaceful retreat compared to my busy apartment in the city. Priya's house was nestled in a quiet neighborhood, surrounded by trees and a small garden filled with flowers she tended to on weekends. "Let's start our day with something fun," Priya suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. She was always the one with the best ideas, and I knew I was in for a treat. "How about a little makeover?" she added, already pulling out her makeup bag. I'm not much of a makeup expert, but Priya had a talent for it. Being a fashion designer, she always had the trendiest looks and the latest products. I agreed, and we spent the next hour sitting in front of her mirror, trying out new makeup styles. We experimented with bold lipstick colors, glittery eyeshadows, and even tried contouring, though we ended up laughing at how it looked before blending it properly. "You look amazing," Priya said, stepping back to admire her work. I smiled, feeling confident and beautiful. I returned the favor, giving Priya a soft, glamorous look with shimmery eyes and a nude lip. We took a bunch of selfies, laughing at how silly we looked in some of the poses. Next up, Priya suggested we go shopping. Shopping with her was always an adventure. She had an eye for style, and she loved helping me pick out outfits that suited my personality. We got dressed, both in flowy dresses, hers a soft lavender and mine a pale blue, and headed out. The mall was buzzing with activity, but we didn't mind. We loved the energy of it. Our first stop was a boutique filled with trendy clothes. Priya immediately started picking out outfits for me, holding them up and imagining how they'd look. "Try this one," she said, handing me a chic black jumpsuit. I tried it on, and as I stepped out of the dressing room, Priya's face lit up. "You look incredible," she said, twirling me around. We spent hours going from shop to shop, trying on clothes, shoes, and even some jewelry. We found matching silver bracelets at a small stall, and without hesitation, we bought them as a symbol of our weekend together. It was a little tradition we had, to buy something matching whenever we spent a weekend together. Every time I looked at my wrist, I'd be reminded of this special day. After a long day of shopping, we were both hungry and decided to grab some lunch. We found a cozy cafe nearby that had outdoor seating. The weather was perfect, with a cool breeze and warm sunshine, so we sat outside enjoying the fresh air. We ordered sandwiches, iced coffee, and shared a slice of chocolate cake for dessert. As we ate, we talked about everything, from work stress to relationship drama. "I've been seeing someone," I confessed, my cheeks flushing a little. Priya raised an eyebrow, leaning in with interest. "Tell me everything," she demanded, grinning from ear to ear. I told her about Ayan, a guy I had met at work a few months ago. He was smart, funny, and we had been on a few dates. Things were going well, but I wasn't sure where it was headed. Priya listened intently, giving me advice and teasing me about how smitten I seemed. "What about you and Rohan?" I asked, turning the tables on her. Priya smiled softly. "We're good," she said. "We've been talking about the future a lot lately. Maybe even marriage." "Marriage? That's huge," I exclaimed, excited for her. "I know," she said, laughing. "But we're taking things slow. I want to make sure we're both ready." Our conversation flowed naturally, as it always did. There was something comforting about talking to Priya. No matter what was going on in our lives, we could always be open and honest with each other. After lunch, we decided to drive to a nearby park for a little picnic. It was one of our favorite spots, quiet, scenic, and perfect for a relaxing afternoon. We brought along a blanket, some snacks, and a bottle of wine. As we spread the blanket out under a large tree, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. It was the perfect way to spend the day. We sat there for hours, talking about our childhood memories. "Do you remember the time we tried to sneak out of the house to go to that party?" asked, laughing. Priya groaned, covering her face. "Oh my God, yes. We were so bad at it. Mom caught us immediately." We both laughed, reminiscing about how we thought we were so sneaky back then. We shared stories of our teenage years, our awkward crushes, and the silly fights we used to have over the most trivial things. As the afternoon wore on, the sky started to darken, and before we knew it, it began to rain. But instead of rushing to pack up, we embraced it. We stayed under the tree, laughing and dancing in the rain like we used to when we were kids. The rain was refreshing, and in that moment I felt completely carefree. Eventually, we made our way back to Priya's house, soaked but still laughing. We changed into dry, comfortable clothes and decided to spend the evening cooking together. Priya had bought fresh ingredients from the farmer's market earlier, and we decided to make homemade pasta with a rich tomato basil sauce. Cooking together was always fun. We played music, danced around the kitchen, and took turns stirring the sauce and rolling out the pasta dough. At one point, Priya threw a handful of flour at me, and before we knew it, we were in a full-on flour fight, giggling like children. When the food was ready, we sat down to eat, feeling proud of our culinary masterpiece. The pasta was delicious, and we paired it with a glass of wine. We spent the evening chatting, watching more movies, and cuddling on the couch with blankets. Later that night, as we lay in bed, Priya turned to me and said, "I'm so glad we did this. I've missed you." "I've missed you too," I replied, feeling grateful for this weekend. It had been exactly what we both needed. Time to reconnect, have fun, and just be ourselves. As the cozy warmth of the room settled around us, I didn't want the night to end just yet. We were lying on the bed, but neither of us was really ready to sleep. Priya reached for her phone, and I could tell she had an idea. "How about we look through some old photos?" she suggested with a mischievous grin. "Great idea," I agreed, sitting up in excitement. We hadn't gone through our childhood pictures in ages, and I knew it would spark more memories and laughter. Priya opened her photo gallery, and we quickly found ourselves scrolling through albums of old family vacations, school events, and birthday parties. "Look at this one." Priya pointed at a picture of us on a beach, holding hands and running toward the water. We must have been about 6 and 8 years old, wearing brightly colored swimsuits and matching sun hats. I laughed out loud at the sight of our goofy expressions, our little faces squinting against the sunlight. "Oh my gosh, look at your hair," I teased, pointing to Priya's wild, tangled curls. "Hey, don't laugh. You were just as bad," she retorted, showing me another picture where my own hair looked like it hadn't been brushed in days. We spent the next hour flipping through photo after photo, laughing so hard we had tears in our eyes. There was a picture of us on our first day of school, nervously clutching our backpacks. Another of us at a family wedding, dressed in bright saris, looking awkward as we posed stiffly for the camera. And then there was the one from our high school graduation, where we were arm in arm, grinning with pride. "I can't believe how much we've grown," Priya said, her voice softening as she scrolled through the photos. "Sometimes I wish we could go back to those simpler days." I nodded, feeling a twinge of nostalgia. Yeah, life seemed so much easier back then. No responsibilities, no deadlines. Just us. We paused for a moment, both lost in thought, before Priya suddenly jumped out of bed. "Wait, I have something even better," she said, rushing out of the room. I sat there, curious, until she returned with a small wooden box that I recognized instantly. It was our old memory box, filled with letters, notes, and small keepsakes we had collected over the years. We used to write each other little notes and hide them around the house for the other to find. It was one of those quirky things that made our bond so special. "Do you remember this?" Priya asked, her eyes shining with excitement. "Of course," I exclaimed, reaching for the box. We opened it together, and inside were dozens of folded papers, ticket stubs, friendship bracelets, and other little trinkets. I pulled out one of the notes and unfolded it carefully. It was written in Priya's unmistakable handwriting, with messy little hearts doodled in the corners. "Dear Maya," I read aloud, "I know you're mad at me because I borrowed your hairbrush without asking, but please forgive me. I'll make it up to you by sharing my candy stash. Love, Priya. We both burst out laughing. I can't believe you kept this, I said, shaking my head in disbelief. Priya grinned. Of course I did. These were important moments, you know. We went through more of the notes, laughing at our silly childhood dramas and the secret codes we used to write in. There was one note where I had confessed to Priya that I had a crush on the neighbor's son, and we giggled uncontrollably as I read it aloud. As we reached the bottom of the box, Priya pulled out a small, folded letter. Her expression softened as she opened it and handed it to me. It was a letter from our mom, written to both of us when we were teenagers. In it, she had told us how proud she was of the women we were becoming, reminding us to always look out for each other, no matter what. Reading it now, with all the years that had passed, I felt a lump in my throat. I miss her, I said quietly, my voice barely above a whisper. I miss her too, Priya replied, her eyes misting over. We both sat in silence for a moment, feeling the weight of her absence but also the comfort of the memories we shared. Breaking the silence, Priya wiped her eyes and smiled. Okay, enough with the tears. Let's do something fun before bed. How about a late-night snack? I perked up at the idea. Yes, let's raid the kitchen. We tiptoed downstairs like we used to do when we were kids, sneaking into the kitchen for midnight snacks. Priya opened the fridge, and we quickly pulled out whatever we could find. Some leftover pizza, a tub of ice cream, and a jar of peanut butter. Why does this feel so familiar? I asked, grinning as I scooped ice cream into bowls. Because we used to do this all the time. Priya laughed. Remember how we'd sneak downstairs after Mom and Dad went to bed and eat ice cream right out of the tub? We settled down at the kitchen table, enjoying our midnight feast and laughing about all the trouble we used to get into. Priya brought out a jar of Nutella, and before I knew it, we were dipping spoons into it and arguing over who got the last bit. After our snack, we decided to head back upstairs. But before we did, Priya suggested something we hadn't done in years. Let's build a fort, she said with a grin. I couldn't help but laugh at the idea. A fort? Are we 12? Yes. Come on, it'll be fun. Priya insisted, already gathering blankets and pillows. In no time, we had created a cozy little fort in her bedroom, draping blankets over chairs and stacking pillows inside. We crawled in with our phones and snacks, feeling like kids again. It was the perfect end to a perfect day. As we lay there in the fort, giggling and telling each other secrets, I realized just how much I had needed this weekend. Life had gotten so busy, and it was easy to forget how important it was to take a break and reconnect with the people who mattered most. Priya and I had shared so much together, and no matter where life took us, I knew we'd always have moments like this to come back to. Eventually, our giggles turned into yawns, and we both started to drift off to sleep. But before we did, Priya turned to me with a sleepy smile. I love you, Maya, she whispered. I love you too, Priya, I replied, feeling grateful for every moment we had shared. And with that, we fell asleep in our little fort, wrapped in blankets and memories, knowing that no matter what the future held, we'd always have each other.